Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Keeping It Neat Live with Derek and Nick. I am Derek, Executive Bourbon Steward.
I'm Nick, Certified Bartender.
And we are here for our live sip-along. Hopefully, everyone got their samples today, not today. Hopefully, it wasn't today.
Yeah, not today.
We know one
About
person
2
that got
weeks
it today.
ago.
Yeah, I sent them out a while ago, so everyone should have gotten them by now. And hopefully, everyone has them open and ready to go. We actually have a batting order for tonight. I actually did that up, so I'm going to post that up. There it is down there. We're going to start with the Black Reserve. We're then going to go to the Sugar Maple. We're going to have the Black Cherry. And then we're going to finish it off with the Keeping It Neat Muckey's Blend. That's what we're going to do. So, Nick, what's been going on with you, buddy? I'm working all my mastery here. And
I know. You do all the behind-the-scenes
I'm doing behind-the-scenes stuff here, trying to get stuff going.
I've been looking forward to this for so long since our last, 3 weeks ago?
Oh, I know.
3 weeks ago, our last live. We've been talking this up for a while. We are more than blessed to have the guests that we have on today. We have a lot in store tonight.
We do have a lot in store
giveaways.
tonight.
We got everything we normally
we've got giveaways.
do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
If you're lucky, I'll be singing at some point, maybe dancing.
Nick's going to sing tonight,
We'll
everybody.
We'll see.
Get ready.
We'll see after those barrel
It's
proofs.
going to be exciting. We're just waiting for people to come in. Again, batting order, what we're going to be drinking, how the order of drinking is down below over here. We're going to be starting with the Black Reserve. We're going to go to the Sugar Maple, and then we're going to go to the Black Cherry, and then we're going to wrap it up with our Keeping It Neat blend that we did with Muckies. That's going to be what we're going to finish the night off with. Yep. Everybody's going to get to do a little mix and match of, with the samples that we sent you, those barrel proofs. Those are 116 proof, so be careful with those. Sip easily, sip small.
Drink responsibly.
And feel free to actually mix them up and, make your own little blends. We sent the little pipettes out to everybody here, with the distilled water. That's not moonshine. That's distilled water. So anybody that really got excited about some moonshine in there, it's not. So you can use these to do a little bit of blending with some water and everything and drip in there. But we're super excited tonight. We have Tom Licks from Cleveland Whiskey, the CEO of Cleveland Whiskey. We have his son, Andrew Licks, is the national sales director for Cleveland Whiskey. We have Mr. Steve Robar, that everybody remembers from Cleveland Whiskey. He's been on the show many times. And we also have Billy Seckinger from Muckey's Liquors, the owner of Muckey's Liquors, that allowed us to get in and help, do a blending with him. Thank you very much that we were able to do. So what I'm going to do right now is, we're going to give you the 8 seconds of glory that we get to put on here, and then we're going to bring in all our guests.
Hit it.
So you made me hit it twice. And we're back with everybody. Here they all are. I put them all in. In 8 seconds, I was able to do that. I'm pretty good.
You are.
Magic.
Magic. So again, everybody, like I said earlier, we have Mr. Tom Licks with us, from the owner and CEO of Cleveland Whiskey. Thank you, sir. Down there below him, we have Andrew Licks, the national sales director for Cleveland Whiskey. We have Mr. Steve Robar, we all remember that we've had on the show before several times. And we have Billy Seckinger from Muckey's Liquors here with us tonight. We're going to be talking about the amazing and always enjoyable to drink Cleveland Whiskey.
Yes.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight.
It's great to be here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
So if anybody has any questions that you may want to pose to any of the gentlemen here on the screen tonight, just, do what you normally do. Put it in the comments. I'll see if I can pull them up, if I can get them up there quick enough. And so that we can hopefully get them answered by Mr. Tom Licks and Andrew Licks, who are the experts that we'll be talking about tonight right here. So I know Nick's been dying. He has like lists of questions over here.
I had to just be I watched Tom's interview on a different show before to get to know him a little bit before coming in. So Tom, that's how I knew about the East Coast.
Okay, good.
He's probably like, man, this guy really did a background check.
A background check on me. He was like doing.
I was wondering who those people were following me. Yeah.
In the car.
Yeah, so now Tom, a lot of the people want now. How long have you been doing the whiskey game? You've been in making whiskey, the bourbons.
Legally,
however you want to say it, legally. Well, we'll save legally for later. How long have you been in?
Well, I think my first experience was I remember making sort of fortified wines and things. Not everybody will remember Tang. But Tang was sort of this, it was famous because the astronauts took it up into space. It was a tangerine sort of heavily sugared concentrate that you'd make a juice from, or sort of a juice. And I remember dumping yeast into that, putting it in used wine bottles, putting a balloon on top and letting them ferment, and having some notable explosions when I bottled them and screwed on the caps a little too early. But I think my most important experience was actually when I was in the Navy. I actually went to distilling school. Now it was for making fresh water out of salt water, but it's a lot of the same principles. And I remember I got stationed on this old ship. It was a destroyer about to be decommissioned. It was a reserve ship, which meant that the chief petty officers were really running the ship most of the time. And this one chief came up to me and he says, "Kid," obviously it was many, many years ago. He said, "Kid, you're going to be my apprentice here on this ship." And I followed him and, went through a number of hatches and finally picked up this one plate in the deck. And we go down this little ladder. And in there, he's fermenting fruit juice from the galley. Now, it was really sort of a sugared Kool-Aid, but he had these big steel drums he was fermenting from. And to really make spirits, you've got to ferment something first, but then you've got to distill it. So distilling, you need two things. You need a hot water, a heating source, and you need a cooling source. Well, in those old ships, it was all steam generators and steam pipes going through everything for propulsion and electrical generation, everything else. So he had drilled a hole in one of those lines and he had a heating source, the steam. And you had salt water lines going throughout the ship as well, pumping salt water for firefighting and for cooling spaces and cooling equipment. And he drilled a hole in one of those as well. And so now he had a cooling source and he was making what he called a hooch, not only for our ship, but also for all the surrounding ships. He had quite the thriving business. And that was really my first commercial experience. So, yeah.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I didn't know if that was Bell was saying, Tom, you've talked to.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's like someone has the, okay, that's one next. It's like you have 30 seconds to answer a question, then you got to get out,
What is.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't know where that was coming from. Like, does he have a ship's bell right now?
That was my fault.
I think ROBAR was
that was Bill. Bill. That was Bill's dinner. That was Bill's dinner thing. His dinner bell was going off.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was great. Now, your new distillery, that is not open yet, correct?
Well, we have an existing. Our new distillery. Yes,
the new one. Your new one.
We're building one now. In fact, my days are filled with meetings with architects and engineers and bankers and lawyers and accountants, and so it's a joy to be on this show. We're building out a new facility. It's much bigger. It's in Cleveland, just like our existing distillery, but it'll be much bigger. We'll be able to bring up production levels to about 20 times what we're currently doing, which is important because we can't meet demand right now. Everything's on allocation. We can't get it out fast enough. We're just run out of room in our existing place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not bad that, there's such a demand. That's definitely, it's unfortunate that you can't get it out to the people, but there is such a demand for it. That's really nice. That's good to know too, to have that. Now, how many markets are you guys currently in? What states do you actually distribute to currently?
Well, we've got, we're technically, I guess, in about 16 states. We're more active in some than in others. Certainly Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, that whole area is really important for us. We've been in 5 different countries. We're hoping that when some of the sort of chaos around the tariffs goes away, we'll be back in those markets. We have been in China. We've been in Europe, all throughout Europe. And there's demand for it around the world, really. And part of that is because we have investors around the world, small investors. We did a couple of online crowdfunding events. We have over 1,600 small investors. And there really are, brand evangelists around the world.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nice. That's cool. Wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I remember seeing on your site, if you wanted to get in, I did see that you had the link there to follow to get into I think it was for your new facility. I believe that was part of that.
Yeah, we did a whiskey bond recently, which was debt. But it had sort of an interesting twist to it. You can convert it to whiskey if you want later. So we're putting aside barrels to secure those bonds. And then those barrels can be used, essentially for bottles, barrel-proof bottles of either bourbon or rye and take part of your return or all of your return in whiskey if you want.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Billy just put his glasses on. I think he's looking how to get into that right now.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing. He's got like a 3-computer setup over there. You know, he was crafty and said he was coming in late, but it wasn't really had nothing to do with food. He's checking the stock market right now, seeing what's going on with the S&Ps.
Now you're giving me too much credit. You're giving me way too much credit.
That's awesome. One of your
I just can't read.
Tom, what's your favorite blend that you've made so far?
Well, you know, the proper answer is to say the one that we have in front of us, which is the one that between you and Muckey's Liqours we put together. You know, these are all my babies in one way, shape, or form. And in fact, you know, there's any number of things that I really like. And I think certainly the barrel proofs or the higher proofed versions are typically my favorites. I think it allows you a lot more flexibility in terms of what you taste and what you like, as opposed to taking sort of a traditional 80 proof whiskey and pouring it in a glass over ice and having it diluted so much right away. You know, I'm also a big fan of using ice chips, for instance. I never put an ice cube in. I know I like a little ice. I like a little bit of water, but I'll start with, especially if it's something I've never tried before, I'll start with one little chip and you know, nose it and taste it. And then I'll try a second chip. I'll try it again. And you can do that for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 chips. And, you know, really have a different drink each time. You know, my late wife used to say it was only because I was a cheap, I won't use the word, we're on the radio here, but I think it's great. You can get one liquor and experience in so many different ways. So
I know one of the,
I sort of avoided your answer, didn't I?
Yeah, I mean, well, because I kind of knew from I already mentioned I've watched some of your interviews before, and one of the ones that we actually did in the past was the wheat penny, and you have a very unique story about the wheat penny and about the pennies, and I was curious if you don't mind sharing that.
Oh yeah,
I don't at all. So wheat penny is interesting. It is a wheated bourbon that we finished with black cherry wood. We found that using sustainable air dried black cherry really works well in giving bourbons and rye some really unique flavors, unique noses, and you do it without any, sugar or syrup or anything artificial by doing it. So I really like that approach. But it's a great wheated bourbon. The idea almost started with the packaging as opposed to the bourbon itself, and that was because I've, like many people my generation, we've always picked up pennies. My mom used to tell me, pick up a penny if you see it on the sidewalk. It's good luck. So. You kept picking them up, and over years and years, you keep your change, you throw it in a penny jar, and I had mayonnaise jars and pickle jars and the big water cooler jars full of these pennies, and I never really knew what I could do with them. But there's such a thing as a wheat penny. Some people call it a Lincoln cent. It's a wheat penny. They produced them from the early 1900s up until 1958. There are millions of them out there in little jars being stored away. There's a lot of them. But I had a collection, and I thought, wouldn't it be interesting? I could actually make that part of the packaging. So we take a wheat penny. So again, a penny of that genre up until 1958, it has wheat sheaves on the back side of the coin, and we glue that coin to each stopper on the bottle. I don't have that bottle handy, but we actually glue it onto the stopper, and that's part of the packaging. So it is our wheat penny. It's the wheat penny 1958 bourbon. Some great things happened in 1958, including.
Looks like Steve has one.
There's Steve. Yep, as we show, and Steve's
there
got it.
There's all sorts of stuff. So I'm gradually going through my penny. Well, not gradually, because it's selling
I know
really great. But I'm going through my pennies and looking for more.
So they are your pennies, like you said before.
They are my pennies. I don't know how long that will last.
Yeah.
We may have to go into the marketplace to buy more, and I'll be happy when we do that. Mm-hmm. But the first ones are mine, and I haven't sorted them. I haven't gone through them. Who knows? Maybe there's actually. I mean, they're not really worth anything. On the open market, I think you can probably buy them for 5 cents or 6 cents in bags. But who knows? There might be a real lucky one out there as well.
Now, do you know how many pennies you actually currently have? If you have the number, I'll be amazed.
I have 732,456. No, but we used 3 earlier before I started this.
I was like,
so
what?
It's Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, all right. I was going to be like, oh my God, that's
He's got
lot.
like a
He's got
tally
like
chart.
tally chart. How many bottles did we make today? And he did minus, carry that over.
Yeah.
Wow, all right. You had me going there for a second time.
I was like,
that's amazing.
I'm wicked gullible. I mean,
Yeah, I bought into it
Yeah.
too. He was selling that. I was like, dude, this guy, 732,000.
Wow.
I mean, that's a lot of pennies
Yeah,
to save up as a kid. That's so.
Yeah. I was
Wow.
busy as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. There was a lot of pennies you found around here. There's pennies from heaven. They were just everywhere back in the day. You know, nobody kept a wheat cent. They just throwing them on the ground.
Well, I think people actually did throw them on the ground because you would give luck just like you would get one by returning them. At least that's the myth that I had.
yeah. I mean, I still pick it up if it has a. If it's heads up, I pick it up. If not, I run. No, I will not
He's
touch
a little
those
superstitious
sales.
with that one.
I am superstitious.
Oh, wow.
I am.
Wow.
I won't touch them. Too
Goodness.
funny.
Now, there was a story, Tom, that I mean, again, I've watched some stuff to just get to ready for tonight, just to see the background on the man, the myth, the legend that you are.
Yeah.
But you have a great
now
story.
I'm getting nervous. Yeah.
No, this is easy because this is an easy one for you. I'm pretty sure it has to do when you were younger, and chemistry was your thing back in the day, as it is still now. You're a mix master, you're a distiller. So that basically, but you're back in your heyday when you first started with the early chemistry sets when they were fun.
Well.
Yeah.
So, I have an edited version of this story too, so I'm trying to figure out which one to tell. But, chemistry sets were really different when I was a kid. And, for instance, I remember the chemistry set I got had a bottle of mercury in it, for instance. I mean, imagine that today. Mercury was part of the chemistry set. All the kids who got chemistry sets, it was like we didn't have video games or anything like that. And, so chemistry sets were a big thing for a few years. We got them, we'd come back into school and we all had these little dark spots on our fingertips because we would pour the mercury out on the kitchen table or the kitchen counters and roll it around because it jiggled and rolled. And, I don't remember what it actually did, but it was fun. And, this one Christmas I had gotten as a gift for Christmas, I got a chemistry set and I also got a model rocket ship. Now it was an old sort of fanciful rocket. It was made out of, it was a model meant to sit on a table or something like that. It was made out of galvanized metal, these big fins on it. You screwed it together. It was sort of out of science fiction more than anything. And but I'm maybe a 9 or 10-year-old kid with a chemistry set and a model rocket. So naturally, what I wanted to do was to I just saw a note across the bottom of the screen. It distracted me. Wheat pennies and giving them to his father for his birthday.
Yeah.
And 5.5 pounds. That's great. Thanks, Tony. Thanks for the information. Now I'll get a better number next time I'm
There you go. You can do it by the pound. That's how you have to
apparently.
roll. Don't worry about the actual number. Just do it by the pound, Tom.
So anyway, I'm a kid with this chemistry set and rocket ship. I want to make rocket fuel. And one day my parents left me home alone. That was a big mistake. They took my siblings, my younger brothers and my sister, left me home alone. So I said, that's the time to make rocket fuel. So I take everything down the basement and I realize I need something to mix all this stuff in. So I come back up to the kitchen. I'm digging out pots and pans. I can't find the lids that fit the pots. But I noticed this one high up on a shelf in the back corner of the kitchen. And it had a lid on it. And so I had to pull a chair over to get up on the counter. Then I pulled the chair up onto the counter to get up there to get the pot. It was really out of reach. And I was still a small little kid. I got that pot. I take it downstairs and I start, we lived in this old house that had a gas hot water heater that was a little finicky. It would go out all the time. So you had to relight it constantly, which meant there was a box of wooden matches next to it as well. So now I'm this 9 or 10-year-old boy with a rocket ship or a model rocket ship, a chemistry set, and a box of wooden matches, and I've got the pot to mix it in. So I'm thinking I can do this. I'm mixing things together. I keep throwing matches in. Nothing's really happening. And finally, I really had tried all my different chemicals and all the combinations. This sort of thick slurry of whatever I was making in there. And I went and I said, well, I know that there's all these cleaners and everything else in the closets and under the sink. So I start pulling them out and I'm throwing them in, mix them in. At one point, all of a sudden I get started, like these big fat white bubbles start popping up, and they're breaking as they sort of get big, and there's this little white smoke going off. It's really obnoxious smelling. And but I'm thinking, oh my God, great! I've invented rocket fuel. So, but the bubbles start diminishing almost right away. So I had to run over to the sink and get more of whatever I just poured in there. I don't even remember what the last thing was that I poured in. I remember running over there, getting under the sink to pull it out, and the next thing you know, I wake up in a hospital room. So it turns out that pot that I had put a couple parts of this, the pot that I sort of closed the lid on was actually a pressure cooker. And my mom had put it up on this high shelf because she noticed a little tiny hairline crack in the top of the lid. So she thought it was dangerous, and rightfully so. And of course, that was the pot that I pulled down, put everything up. It built up some pressure. Apparently it exploded, sent shrapnel throughout the basement. I was lucky I was under the sink, so I didn't get hit by the shrapnel, but the hot water heater did. And there was some sort of explosion. There was a concussion that knocked me out. I almost burned down the family home. Needless to say, I lost my chemistry set privileges for a couple years. But I've always loved chemistry. And if I had a better attention span, I'd probably be a real chemist. But in a way, this was one of the things that led me to Cleveland whiskey, because I read these stories about the growing middle class in China and India in South America, and I thought there had to be a way to do things a little differently, a little more efficiently, get some new flavors in there. And I started experimenting in my basement again, and I blew up over 1,000 mason jars. My wife was thrilled when I finally moved out of the basement into a laboratory, because she was convinced that the neighbors were going to call the police and say these guys have a meth lab down their basement. But because I'm not a real chemist, I made some crazy mistakes that a real chemist wouldn't have made. They turned out to be really an integral part of the technology that we use today to do what we do. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad you're still with us. Your chemistry experiments didn't go too awry on you, That's good.
We keep experimenting every day, so you never know.
Yeah. Well, some congratulations are in order also. We saw that you have won several medals, a bunch of gold medals for your Black Reserve, I believe.
Double gold, platinum, Innovator of the Year, Best in Show. Barack Obama came and visited you in 2015. We've done our research, Tom.
We don't even need to be here.
No matter what your politics are, it was pretty amazing that the president actually came and came to the distillery. I will mention that I did not tell him the story about what I did in the Navy, since he was the commander-in-chief, but it was pretty good having him there for sure.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And awards. I think we've won over 100 medals. Close to 50 gold, double gold, platinum, best of show. The one I'm most proud of is the Cleveland Whiskey, the Whiskey Distillery Innovator of the Year that we won at the Berlin International Spirits Competition. But just over the last couple of weeks, we won a series of double golds at the San Francisco Spirits Competition, which is known as sort of the best of the best. Mm-hmm. And also the SIP Awards, we won some double golds there as well. We were talking about the Wheat Penny, that won a double gold there. Our underground bourbon that we finished with Black Cherry Wood won a gold or a double gold at San Francisco. I forget exactly ones, but we've been doing pretty good. And we don't enter all the competitions. It's way too expensive to do that. But I think everything we entered in those two competitions, we won. We certainly won medals for, and most of them were golds and double golds.
Wow. That's
awesome.
Impressive.
Congratulations,
that's really good.
to you guys.
Congratulations, definitely. For all our viewers out there, if you have any questions for Tom or Andrew or us or Billy or Steve, but we don't want to talk to Steve. Steve will be at the end of the show. He's got his whole half hour he's got going on.
He's chomping at the bit.
He's waiting. I know he's dying over there. He is, but he has his part. He'll do it later. I know he will. We can count on Steve. So what else you got there, buddy?
Let's see.
I got a question for Tom.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Go ahead.
You mind? What brought you to Cleveland?
So actually, my mom was born and raised in Cleveland, and she met my father. He was from New Jersey. He was going to what's now called Cleveland State, as was my mom, and he was going to the GI Bill. They got married right after they graduated, moved to the East Coast, and that was sort of where I was born and raised. She moved back to Cleveland late in life, got sick. My wife and I came out to help care for her. And then while I was here, really fell in love with the city. It's in many ways, it's like Boston, but a little bit further back in time. You know, it's like 40 years ago in Boston when all those positive changes were occurring. And both cities were world-class industrial cities that had fell on hard times. Cleveland has some advantages in that we have great fresh water that we'll be able to, have as opposed to Boston, although I do miss the ocean. World-class healthcare facilities in both places. You've got an educated workforce, both blue collar and white collar, in both cities. I told the mayor of Cleveland that one of the other things that Boston and Cleveland have in common was a history of corrupt local government. He wasn't all that excited about it, but I said, it's a history of corrupt local government. And both cities had their problems, and once those were solved, the cities were able to thrive, and Cleveland's definitely on an upturn. So I like being here.
That's good.
Nice. We have one question from one of our viewers right now. They ask, is the Christmas blend different each year? Is it the same blend you guys put out, or do you change it up yearly?
It is, I'll say it's the same, but, we've made a few little minor tweaks over the years that we've been doing it. But it's generally the same. We try to put a different label on it each year. We've done that, especially over the course of the last couple years, using a local artist here. And I don't know what it will look like this year, but it will definitely come out for sure.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that was Jeff Rivard. Thanks for the question, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
I did have something. Here we go. I have been thinking about this forever. I just want to know how were you greeted in the bourbon community, the whiskey community, with your innovative new process? Just for the simple fact that it goes, contrary to everything that the traditional bourbon is, how it's done. Were you like, I would like to know were they open and said, "Oh, Tom, come on in," or somehow I don't think it was like that, but I'd like to hear what it was like.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. Although I must admit it's evolved somewhat over time, but certainly very early on, we were considered heretics, and the idea, people thought that what we were doing was sacrilege. We had some interesting reviews very early on, where it was clear that the reviewers, who were real traditionalists, hadn't even tried the product. And because we were doing blind taste tests against brands like Knob Creek and doing extremely well, and yet the traditionalists were saying, "Gee, this doesn't taste well." I won't even say some of the things that they said, so it's been rough. The good news is, when regular consumers try it, as opposed to the real traditionalists or the people sort of working in the that have that are in the industry, so to speak, who have a vested interest in the industry, it's been pretty good, and people buy it and then they'll buy it again. And I think that's what's key, is that repeat purchase. The other important thing for us is that because of the technology that we have, we can do research and development much more efficiently than a traditional company. I can turn things around very quickly, test something. If I don't like it, it goes down the drain. And if anybody from the EPA is listening, we put it through properly. It's disposed of properly. It's an expression, putting it down the drain. I got in trouble once for saying that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And but over time, we're having more and more people begrudgingly sort of come around and say, maybe it's not that bad. And that's a big step. Mm-hmm. Some of these guys who were, thought it was really despicable what we were doing. Yeah. When we were called heretics, we just embraced it and said, fine, that's good. We don't want to do things the same way. We want to do things differently. I mean, the big thing that we do is around the alternate woods that we can use because of the process. People could build a barrel out of hickory wood or black cherry wood, but it would leak like a sieve. Yep. And so you can't really age something in those barrels. And aging is simply a process of, daily environmental changes where the temperature changes, therefore the pressure inside the barrel changes. That moves the alcohol in and out of the pore structure of the wood. And that gives a whiskey anywhere from 60 to 80% of its flavor and 100% of its color. Well, if the objective is to move the spirits in and out of that wood, there are other ways to do that. And, so we've got some approaches that do that efficiently, effectively, oxygenate it while we're doing it to get really great profiles, but also allows us, we're not limited to just using a barrel. We can use woods like black cherry and hickory and sugar maple, apple, and all sorts of other woods that have some really unique and interesting flavors. And that's our focus.
Yeah. Well, that is actually, I think that sets you apart from everybody else is because you can use all those different woods and get in those different flavor profiles that I think a lot of other distilleries would like to get. They just can't get it through their traditional methods that they do use.
Yeah, and a lot of times we're classified as sort of an accelerated aging company, and that's not really us. There are people who work on shortening the time frame. Now, we can do it faster and more efficiently, but I try to use that not to cheat the process, but rather to do things that just can't be done in other ways. And a lot of it is just constant testing, constant experimenting. I mean, as you can tell, I love to experiment with all sorts of things. I try not to blow them up, but we're constantly experimenting. And if you were in a traditional distillery and you said, gee, let me try making something different. Well, new mash bill, whatever, you distill it, you put it in a barrel. You might try it a year in and say, okay, that's promising. Let's let it sit for a little while. You tried it at 3 years. It's not quite there. You try it again at 5. It's not there. Maybe at 8 years, you say, gee, this turned out really good. Let's make some more. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not that patient a person.
Yeah.
I like that we can do things quickly and say, wow, this is a real hit. This is wonderful. Let's try it. Well, let's get it in the marketplace and see what consumers actually think. Mm-hmm. And we have the ability to do that and to do, micro batches. We do relatively small things. Even when we do a special blend like the one we're doing here, it's in relatively small quantities. So there's a limited number of bottles that go out, and they tend to, go fairly quickly, and then we can move on and make something else new and exciting and interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the really interesting thing is that, how quickly you can do the turnaround on it. When we did the blending with Billy and Steve, when he said, I'm going to have that out, it'll be done 30 days or 45 days, whatever I believe it was from the day that we had finished the tasting, the actual blend to when the barrels arrived at Muckey's. It was like 45 days. It was incredible.
It was February we did it. Yeah, and then it was 45 days, and we were like, wow, it's actually, I remember seeing Bill, he's like, it's coming in next week. I was like, really? Okay, awesome.
And even our barrel programs are so different because of that. You're not just going into a rick house and picking a barrel from the northeast corner and another one from the southwest corner and saying, okay, they vary slightly, let's blend them together. You have the ability to say, take something entirely different, like a bourbon that's been finished with an apple wood, where you really get some of those apple flavors in there, and then do something with well, we haven't released walnut yet. We probably will, but we'll do, hickory or something like that, and make something that's really unique and different, not just a blend of the standard fare, which is, I think, sort of what you get with a lot of the other brands.
Yeah, definitely. And that was the unique part of it. Our first for us was doing that blending session, and you're just seeing, through all the different woods that were available for us to try, and how much it does change the complexity of it, and changes certain notes, and highlights one thing, but brings down another for the other one. So it was very interesting to do it, and we were very fortunate and thankful that we were able to with Billy. Definitely.
Well, and even with, I know we're not going to, I probably have to go before you get around to the tasting, but, if I think about just even the nose on this particular blend, which I know your audience is going to taste later, it's very fruity. It's got like a peach tea, almost an herbal nose to it that you wouldn't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's not a flavored whiskey. It's a, 108 proof, I think this one, it's a solid, good whiskey for a lot of different things, but you're going to get flavors and the tasting notes are different as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And for all of our viewers, again, as we're going here, we do have Tom. We a limited amount of time with Tom, so we were really focusing in on that right now for this. But the tasting order is going across the bottom of the screen. If you haven't started yet, start with the Black Reserve and work your way through. Just save the blend for at the end, and we can, we'll talk about the notes that we get out of that. But if you want, in the comments as you're drinking along, please pull your comments up of what you're drinking at the time and what you're getting out of it. Obviously, these are all barrel proofs. These are 116 proofs, so they're going going to come out hot, folks. So,
Yeah.
maybe you want to add a little water or maybe an ice cube in there just to bring it down a little bit. But you can do your own little blending. Like we had said before, we have the little pipettes that we sent out to everybody. So that you can do a little mix master session of your own, put a little couple.
You got to put up Jeff's comment just
it's
now.
Jeff, right?
It's the Facebook user. Right, two more
This one?
down. Two more down.
I just saw that. I was laughing myself.
That is amazing. I've tried some of the water by itself. That's the best water I've ever had.
That's right from the Cleveland River. That's what that is right there. That's an almighty, from all the way from Ohio. We had that flown in. Actually, I think it was from Stop and Shop. I think and I got the bottle from Steve. But that's actually a pretty good comment there.
Good.
But so that was a question that I really had was just how you were looked upon in the distillery community, because just of your innovative method that you guys utilize currently to make your whiskey and get it out there so quickly. And like you said, the experimental factor is you want to try something, you can do it, and you'll have it in days versus having to wait 2 years to see how it's going to come out.
Right.
And you're also, like you said, it's not that artificial flavor. It's those woods that are really coming out, and it really helps it so much. It's so tasty. I love it. There's so much you can do with it, especially going into cocktails and stuff. I've been playing around with it, trying to find the signature cocktail for it. We're figuring it out, but it's really good. And again, thank you for allowing us to be a part of it, Bill and Steve, and obviously Tom and Andrew as well. Being a part of this tonight, we really appreciate it. So,
and the interesting thing too is their flavors. People say black cherry. Well, it's not like the fruit, so it's a very different sort of flavor. These are flavors you've never really experienced before. Nobody knows what is that? What is hickory wood? What flavors does that impart? And the apple wood is different than just taking a bite out of an apple. So it's all sort of a new experience every time you drink one of these.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had one of our viewers here ask, because I think you let a little something slip there. We may have gotten a little something, a little look into the future of what may be coming out from Cleveland Whiskey. But what are you excited about putting out in the near future? Just to tease us a bit more, you already said walnut, which sounds interesting. Should we be expecting that anytime soon?
So I just, in the past couple of weeks, I just tasted some of the walnut we did for the first time. And I think it's really promising. I want to do a little more research on it first. I want to play with it, do it in, different ways, different intensities, see what we can bring out. But I think that's promising. I don't know when that will come out, but if we do something with it, we'll probably add it to the sort of portfolio of woods that we can use in custom barrels. So that's where you'll see that. I know that, we're holding off on a few things until we get to the new facility, because generally, what we used to do is do, very short runs of our experimental work. And then we would, bottle 250 bottles. We'd have an open house. We'd sell out those bottles to everybody who came, and, that's how it would go. So that really did our experimental things. I know there's a barrel or two of a honey barrel finished bourbon that we're going to release now for the second time. That'll come out again, but that might only be local. We've got another flavor coming out soon, but
Can you save some stuff for me to talk about?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Andrew, how are you doing?
Oh, Andrew's here.
No, nothing, Andrew.
That's perfect. And you know what he really did is he stopped me from giving away too much information.
Okay.
That was his,
How about Billy? Billy wants to say something too.
that was his subtle way of saying it. And the funny thing is, Derek and Nick, I told you guys earlier, Jan can only be here for about 30 minutes. And you said that's plenty of time, but little did you know that my answers to your questions mean you were only able to ask me like 3 questions because my answers are so long.
The answers they work for us, and you know what? I mean, like I said, as long as you have the time for us, we'll take as many answers as we can get from you. I know our time with you was going to be limited to begin with, so thank you very much. I think you answered a lot of our questions we had, and we still have some more, but that could be for another time too. And Andrew's going to be here, so
yeah, that'll be another time. And this is probably a good segue for me to duck out and give Andrew and Steve a chance to get a word in edgewise.
Steve's dying. Steve's dying over there right now.
Yeah.
But
well, thanks everybody. I really appreciate it. Thanks to everybody in the audience as well.
No, I'm good. I love to hear Tom talk.
Well,
thank you
you know, it
so
is
much for
something-
coming on with us tonight, Tom. We
Yeah,
really
thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much,
Thank you
Tom.
for taking time out of your busy schedule for us.
Tom, it was great to see you, and hope to see you in the fall.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll see you in September.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's
All
funny, guys. He's a great storyteller, so everything's going to go downhill from here.
Oh,
It's
well,
there you go.
here's what I've got a question
Thanks,
for you,
Tom.
Andrew. After listening to your father's story about his chemistry set, do you leave him alone in the distillery when no one's around?
Oh, I have so many ways I could answer that, but I don't. We're live.
That's okay. It's all adults. Everyone's over 21 here.
Yeah.
That's, you
Well,
know.
Let's put it this way: we've had a lot of fire alarms go off, a lot of leaks, a lot of floods. Yeah, I'll just do it.
Oh, that's amazing.
The fact that you had to ponder and pause and look off in the distance, you can see the memories
Yeah,
are just
just
like,
coming
oh
up
boy.
right
Well, when you started going down that path, and he was scared what you were going to ask him. I thought you were going to ask about his ex-wives and all that stuff too. So there's so many different ways.
Oh,
that can
no.
I didn't
go.
do that much research.
No, I didn't go back that far into it. Wow,
See,
that would have been.
this show's going to go in a totally different direction now.
Oh, well, now it is. Oh my God! Yeah, I guess so. That's
Andrew, before we start, there's a dying question that Bourbon Bay Becca wanted us to ask you. We're curious as well. Do you have a lot of control over the proofing, correct? And if so, how do you control that?
You mean with the barrel program specifically?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's easy. Essentially, to create the proof, you're just adding water. It's that simple.
now, I think it's more specific was to the barrel proof, like 116 proof, like all of these. Now, do you add water to those, or are those actually the barrel proof when they come out of your distill?
Yeah,
your
that's
distillate?
So well, to be clear, so we bring in a lot of raw distillate from MGP, and then we also mix that with our own distillate as well. So the average starting distillate that we have, it doesn't change too much after it goes through our process, is somewhere between 115 and usually 122, 123 at the high point. So when we go out for the barrel program, typically everything goes in the bottle at around 116 for consistency purposes.
Oh, all right.
So,
Okay.
Okay. Before we go,
I thought
any
they were coming out that way exactly.
Oh,
from the
once
I
I'm
was
like, that's amazing.
How's that possible?
All right.
Yes, no, not exactly on the mark. No.
Okay, all right.
All right. So we're gonna do a giveaway for a T-shirt right now from Cleveland Whiskey right here.
Here we go.
If I can
Love a
get
good
my
giveaway.
mouse to work for me, there it is.
We shuffle it. I don't want to hear.
Oh
about it.
yeah, let's do the shuffle.
We've
Get a
shuffled
couple
it 4 times before we started, but we always shuffle the
three.
names.
There's 4 shuffles right
All
there.
right.
All right.
Do the
So this is
shuffle.
going to be for an extra large T-shirt, Cleveland Whiskey. You got Steve showing it off over there, and we'll do that right now. Let's do the spin.
Steve, is this one of your pre-worn shirts?
Yeah, I made sure that I sweat in it. You know what I mean? So people can really have the real feeling of what
Look at
Cleveland
that
whiskey's
wine.
all about. You know what I mean? So
Jacob Portugal, congratulations, sir. You won a
Congrats, Jake.
T-shirt. We'll get that out to you.
Nice.
Very nice. So there we go.
well,
We'll do that.
those people that know me, that extra large T-shirt's not fitting me. So
Yeah, I know. I'm a double extra large myself kind of a guy. Now
well, I didn't want to say anything, Derek, but yes, you are. So
right now, what we're going to do too, we're going to do another giveaway. Here's the thing, folks. We have a $25 gift card to Muckey's Liquors. If it is not a local person that wins the gift card, I will send you a Keeping It Neat T-shirt in place of it, because Muckey's gift card isn't going to do you any good if you're down in Florida right now, and especially if you don't come back to Massachusetts. So next we'll do this quick spin here, $25 gift card. Thanks to Billy who gave this to us for tonight's show. Hey, Paul Lavelli. All right. I know he's a local guy, so he will actually use that. He's in Muckey's quite a bit, actually. So
congrats.
I just
Paul.
took out.
congrats, Paul. Thank you very much for that, Billy. We appreciate it. A gift card. All right, let's close this, pull this down, and so we can get to some questions.
Oh, Darren's got a good question.
All right.
Darren is asking you, Andrew. So why such a high proof? Is it because many people like to use the ice and water or water it down, or is it because you guys just bourbon enthusiasts and we love a good high proof? Because that's how Bill and Derek are, and I follow suit.
No, so it's a good question. It's a good question. So when we go out to blend the barrel, we always start by tasting everybody on the cast strength varieties. Once we get a blend of flavor profiles that we like, then you can add water to something that you think your customer base is really going to appreciate. I feel like more and more, most people are gravitating towards higher proofs. Not everyone, but once you add water, you can't go back up in proof. So it's easier to start high and work your way down.
Okay. That does make sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. Awesome.
What was another? Anybody else have any questions? Let's check our question map. Anybody pulling something up? Now, Andrew, this again for you is now obviously, was this like preordained you were going to work for your father?
No.
Is that no?
Not at all.
Did you have a whole nother, track you were going on, and then he said, "Nope, you're working for me"?
Somewhat. So it's funny. I think Billy had asked my dad about how'd you end up in Cleveland. So I grew up in Boston my whole life. Since I think most of this audience right now is from that area. I went to Xaverian for high school. I went to UMass Boston. Got a job downtown working for a mutual fund company after college. 2009 came along, market tanked, and an email went around basically saying, and I was in this entry-level sales training division at the mutual fund company. And you usually spent 1, 2, 3 years there, and then you got a promotion to the next level, right? They sent out this company-wide email saying, because of market conditions, we're not going to be doing any promotions for the foreseeable future. Just FYI. So I had just broken up with my longtime college girlfriend, didn't want to stay at this company that I was at the time, just wasn't having fun in this entry-level job anymore. And my dad had recently moved out to Cleveland, so I started looking for other jobs in Boston, but also in Cleveland too. I said, what the heck? And ended up taking a job as a mortgage banker in Cleveland. Figured I would work there for a couple years, pay off my student loans, and then head back to Boston. Well, in the meantime, my dad had started working on the whiskey stuff kind of on the side. He mentioned nights and weekends in his basement. He had also gotten small laboratory space in the building that we're in right now. And by small, I mean like the size of maybe like your average walk-in closet. He was doing experiments there, working with engineers, and I was coming over on the weekends every now and then, just seeing what was going on and helping him out, giving him some muscle and things like that. Mm-hmm. So as time went on, I was still at the mortgage company. And, I was getting more and more interested. We hired a consulting firm to talk about potential names for products, name even for the company, right? And he's like, hey, you think you might want to join me if I decide to actually try to make a run at making this a business? And I said, sure. And next thing you know, I was setting up those taste testings against Knob Creek that he mentioned. That was my original job. To set up those groups, and we were going around to Rotary clubs and chambers of commerce, anyone that would have us, and just getting in front of the room, talking about our whiskey and doing blind tasting. And now here we are today, and I'm still in Cleveland, and I love Cleveland now. It's my home. Mm-hmm. I still root for the Red Sox, Patriots, Celtics. Hopefully no one's watching in Cleveland, but
we want everyone to watch, Andrew. It doesn't matter where they're from.
I know.
The next day, Andrew Licks has been missing.
We got Steve just dropped out. I don't know what happened to Steve. Evidently,
I kicked him out. I booted him.
Oh, is that what you booted him? Nice. I like it. All right.
He's had enough.
No,
Yep.
So quick funny story. So a few years ago, we were doing this. It was like Browns preseason in the municipal lot, which is where everyone tailgates.
Yep.
And we were selling this byproduct of our whiskey that we sell for smoking barbecue. It's called smoker bricks. It's the wood that we use in our process.
Yeah, those are awesome.
So we were grilling some stuff up, showing off those things. And a news station, I forget which one, came by, and they were interviewing people about what they thought the Browns prospects were. And they came over to our tent. It was a Cleveland whiskey tent, right? But they just wanted to talk to anybody, and they were looking for a good interview. And everyone's like, oh, Andrew, you know the most about sports. Why don't you go talk to them? So I gave him my opinion on the Browns, and I said, I love the guys they drafted. I think they'll improve. I think this is coming off their own 16th season, so they're easy to improve, right? And next thing I know, live on the news, Andrew Licks, Browns fan, right in the bottom of the screen. I'm like, oh, man, never going to live this one down with my local Boston friends.
Wow, that's awesome. How many people screenshotted that and sent that to you?
A lot.
Actually, we have one person here actually said the smoker bricks is the only wood they use in their smoker.
There you go.
So I have to say I've used them. I've got a couple of samples of, and they work amazing in the smoker. They really do. That's all I use now myself. I don't use anything else.
It's like a little bit up, but that's pretty funny.
Who's that from?
Jeff. Same one from before. It's a Facebook user. It's right there.
All right.
Nope, down.
No, Nick. No.
Down. Right there.
This one.
Yeah.
Can
They want a shirt worn by me. That's why I was like, throw it up there.
Oh, is that what you want your shirt?
Sweaty shirt.
A sweaty
Jeff wants
shirt.
it.
Yeah, it's hot up here in the studio.
Maybe I'll give
today,
him
too.
this one tonight.
Wow.
One lucky fan will do a spin.
One lucky fan's going to get the shirt off Nick's back.
In the 80
The
degree
essence
heat
of
up here.
Nick.
Yeah, essence of Nick, the full Nick coming at you right there. He's back. Hold on, let's see. Here he is. You are back. What? You're in your car now? You couldn't get no reception in your house?
Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, technical difficulties. They do happen. That does happen. Unfortunately, it is. The internet is a fickle thing. Sometimes we've had our own issues several times with the poor reception and poor links that we have had. It does happen. So
Steve looks like he's in a basement.
he does look like he looks like he's like in someone's basement right now, waiting for them.
You have the soul. You look like you're about to like honestly.
That's what we're gonna spin to win next. Is Steve's gonna show up in your basement in the middle of the night looking like this.
I can't even hear him. It's breaking in and out so bad.
Oh, dude, no,
Nothing.
Put him on mute, will you? That's all.
Steve, you are so choppy right now, Steve. Your audio is terrible.
This
Your
might make
audio
it better.
is horrible. You're super choppy. What's that?
I heard him say something. Ask Andrew about something, and I have no idea what it was.
I don't know either.
Were you on the night of the rover?
No, it's still not getting any better there, buddy.
Where were you on the night of the robbery? Jeff Bard.
That's awesome.
Let's pull this
Where
up.
were you on the night of the robbery?
Yeah,
In my car, officer.
I was in my
Cleveland
car
whiskey.
doing keeping it neat show, sir.
The keys weren't in the ignition, I swear.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's now. Now, obviously, you know Billy. Now, was that from when you guys were first starting out? You guys kind of went around a little more personal kind of relationship going on, or is it something did you know him from before you started doing all this stuff?
No, not from before. I've met Billy several times now, going back several years. I've done tastings in his store personally. I bought that Elmer T. Lee off of him a few times.
You're inside Elmer T. Lee. Shh,
It
don't
was
tell anybody.
on the shelf.
They're all going to be banging down his door tomorrow. We heard you have Elmer T. Lee, Billy.
Yeah, this is years ago, to be clear.
There's no Elmer T. Lee at Muckey's.
There you go. That's the disclaimer Billy just put out. Don't go asking him tomorrow. Not going to happen.
Billy and his father have both been supporters of Cleveland Whiskey, and myself personally, and Steve. So we appreciate the relationship. It's a very good and valued relationship, and
that's
happy
awesome.
to have it.
That's really cool that you guys have that kind of personal relationship. It's more of face to face kind of a deal going on, which is nice. You don't really get that a lot. I don't think in the corporate world, when you start getting bigger and bigger, you kind of lose that touch with the actual people that work behind the people that started up the company itself.
What are you trying to say? Booker No's never been to Muckey's?
Has Booker Noah been to Buc-ee's?
No, man. I'm just saying.
All right, he's just saying that. So there you go. So yeah, so that kind of personal relationship, I guess it's might be easier when you're smaller, maybe to do that. Where I mean, a Booker No type of a deal where they've been around forever. I don't think he's going to go out and glad handing a lot of the local liquor stores, trying to get a market for himself. So.
No.
I love it though, and especially going back to New England. I mean, my mom still lives in New England. My sister, a bunch of my friends. I love getting back there. I just took my first trip this May since COVID started, and I got to see my sister. She just had a baby, so I love going back to the local market. It's where I grew up. I can speak the language, even though I have to fake the accent now. And I don't know. I'll always be in New England.
That's it is you can get New England is unique. The personalities you get in New England, up in the Boston, Massachusetts area, we're a bit of I don't know. We've talked about it before. you seem kind of abrasive when you're from Boston, but it's not that we're abrasive. It's just we don't waste time. We just kind of want to get right to the point. We don't kind of do the long route around. We want to go right through the middle and get to it.
Yeah.
So it seems abrasive to a lot of other people in the country because they're not used to that. They do that secular thing. They kind of work in that big long loop around to get to the point, and it's like, no, we just want right there. That's where I want to be over there. I don't want to use this. I don't want to use that. I'm going there.
It's kind of similar to driving styles too.
Oh, well, yes, yeah. I don't want to be in this.
Here, you have people on the road that are going 100, and then other people that are going 50, and that's what creates accidents.
Yes,
in Massachusetts, everyone's going 85. You're all good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Andrew, which one's your favorite out of all the ones that you've tried? It might not even be here tonight. Don't worry, no harm.
We won't be hurt.
Yeah, we won't be hurt.
My dad already gave the very political answer, and I'll give one too. I've done a ton of these barrels now, a ton. And I got to admit, I like yours a lot. I forget the exact blend. I looked it up with my dad on Sunday when he was over here at my house, but it's very close to one that I did with a... No, I know what the woods are, Steve. I just don't remember the percentages, and I wouldn't say that to the audience, but it's very similar to one that I've done in the past with another retailer that I loved a lot too. So I'm happy you guys stumbled upon this one. To answer it a little bit more directly, I'm a big fan of the black cherry. I love our regular cherry product. As you guys alluded to earlier, we just won that double gold in San Francisco. That product's killing it for us. I'm a big fan of our wheat penny, a big fan of our rye that's done with black cherry. It's my favorite wood that we use. I think sugar maple blends really nice with it. I think honey locust blends really nice with the black cherry. And frankly, apple does too. So I think you can't go wrong with something with black cherry. That would be my personal preference.
Which is what everyone... Good transition, which is what everyone should be sipping right now. If you're not, we are on the black cherry as we speak. So make sure you're commenting below. I know I commented real quick. Comment what you're getting on the nose and on the palate. And let us know what your dominant nostril is, switches every once in a while.
It does. Every 3 hours, your dominant nostril changes.
What nostril we're at tonight.
Yep. We want to know what everyone's working.
I'm laughing.
I don't know what Steve
just
is saying.
Put him on mute, please.
Yeah, I don't. Steve, your audio is coming through so choppy, buddy. I don't know if you have earphones in or what. Take the earphones out, maybe disconnect them.
It just has no connection.
Because the connection is terrible right now. Yes, this is one of our users right here. Jeff also asked, "What? There's a rye? Yep, they have a rye, Jeff. It's out there. They do make a rye that is available."
And the rye is really good. It's pretty unique. It's a 95% rye mash bill, 5% malt. So it does have the spice that you get in a rye, but it's a lot sweeter and softer than most ryes on the market because of the cherry wood finish.
Yeah. Yeah, I do have a bottle of the rye. It is very nice. It's a really easy sipper.
I agree.
A lot of ryes are really up front, and they're kind of, some of them are kind of harsh, actually. Some ryes, but you're very nice, easy sipper. I do enjoy it a lot. It is very nice. Your whole range of whiskey is excellent. We did the Christmas show. We had the Christmas whiskey. We had the wheat penny. We had the Black Reserve. We did. And everyone, honestly, a lot of the people did really enjoy was the Christmas whiskey. It's really unique. It's different. There's no artificial flavors added. So you're getting, all the real stuff in there. And on top of that too, is that you change the labels every year, which is really cool. It's something that it's a special release really. So it's nice that you guys do a new label every year for it too.
Yeah.
And one thing I did want to mention.
Ago.
I'm sorry?
My favorite was 2 years ago with the Christmas story.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. A lot of people like the bottle from this past year, I believe
Guardians.
Yes. Yep. They really liked that one. They thought that was a really cool bottle. I did too. That was really neat. It was, and on top of that, you had them all in different colors too. I think it was 4 different colors you had them out in.
Yep.
So, so that was pretty cool in a lot of.
It'll be a cool collection to have all of them.
I'm sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it'll be so cool to have all of those bottles because they're so unique and cool, and it changes every year. So
yeah,
Well, that's why I tell everybody you've got to buy at least 2 per year, one to keep on your shelf and one to drink. Preferably you buy 12, but.
And we know a
This
guy.
way you have that. Yeah, we know a guy. You know, we can hook you up. We know we have a contact.
Yeah.
So
We have a couple
one thing
of
I did want to touch on, because it's come up with a lot of the questions, I think, and my dad was I was trying to stop him from giving away everything as far as the new products. But one of the things that I'm really passionate about, myself and our distillery manager Brandon, we're probably the most, geekiest whiskey guys that we have on the team, right? As far as collecting and everything goes. So I'm really a big fan of the barrel proof, full proof, whatever you want to call it. So we're hopefully going to be releasing a full proof version of the black cherry. So kind of more to what everyone's sipping right now. So if you enjoy that, that might be available at some point in the near future as a regular item on the shelf. And then possibly a similar version of our wheat penny as well.
Ooh, wow. That would be interesting. Man.
Andrew's like, and my job is done.
That's it. See you later,
Thanks,
guys.
Dad.
He clicks out. I'm out. Got the bombs. I'm going to leave.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's some good information.
Yeah.
That's
we have
awesome.
one question here from
My buddy
Katie
John.
Cook.
Yep.
It just says Facebook user, but it's
Yeah.
Katie Cook. Like many, I'm sure I enjoy a cigar with a whiskey. Any good pairings you guys like? Now, I don't know if anybody's a cigar drinker, cigar smokers, if there's any pairings that you enjoy more than others.
Unfortunately, I cannot answer that question.
Okay. Billy, are you?
I don't usually drink whiskey and smoke my cigar, but I do like Rocky Patel Decade. Those are probably my favorite right now.
Okay. Steven? Oh, he's on mute. Oh, boy.
Why'd you do it?
I don't know. I thought he left and came back. I don't know. It's just a bop, bop, bip, bop, bop, bip, bop, bop, bop. That's the audio is terrible, buddy. You're killing
Look
me,
at the
man.
Swedish chef.
I know.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
That's amazing. Good one, Billy.
Oh, man.
I love a cigar, but I do it more in those like once in a blue moon settings.
That's
I feel
me.
like
Yeah.
there's a fun whiskey cigar bar actually in Providence that I go once in a blue moon.
That's still open?
What'd you say?
Is that the one still open?
It is still.
Oh.
It's the one right near Hanley's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually think that might. But it's very interesting. I've actually from us doing the show, we've actually never done a pairing of cigars and whiskey.
No, we haven't done that. We haven't done that. That is a thing.
We would need someone, I think, to almost teach us that, because I would just pick any cigar and be like, yeah, let's try this one.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what
pretty
I mean?
much it. Get a nice.
But
little-
I do love a good cigar every now and then.
All right.
So
Well, hey.
good question though.
That is a good
If
question.
any fan can answer that, go ahead, do it in the chat for us.
Yeah, if you have an answer of good pairing for the cigar with the whiskey, let us know. Definitely, where there's a lot of people out there that are knowledgeable about cigars, such as us. We'd like some kind of groundwork there, and maybe we'll go down that route in the future. Maybe a little. Huh?
Not them. Yeah, this is when we did the podcast. No, not the podcast. But we had the guys on the show recently, and they
from Rickhouse.
yeah, Rickhouse.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they do the
They
whole
do those-
bit.
they-
They do
yeah.
the cigars and stuff.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. Maybe they'll point us in the right direction.
Maybe. You never know.
Never.
So now, Andrew, when do you guys expect to actually be possibly inside your new distillery? Is there, is that further like a year down the road and the next, upcoming future, or further down?
It's a moving target. Good question. And it's funny. It's something, Steve even asks me like every week, what are the updates? What are the updates? And to be quite honest, I'm letting my dad and our CFO really drive all that, right? Because there's a lot of fundraising going on along with it. With the building we're moving into, it's a 27,000 square foot building, which is huge. And it's a brick building, but it's been vacant for decades. It's in a great location. It's right on the water, right in the river, but it needs a complete rebuild. So what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to have a bigger, better version of our technology as far as our manufacturing up and running over there end of summer, maybe September. So we can start moving production over there, because we can't shut down at our current operation while we're waiting for the new one. And then do the build out around that. So the build out might still not be done till heck, even the end of 2022 at this point. But we could be up and running, manufacturing by September.
Wow. Well, I'm sure that would help you out
awesome.
greatly with, definitely putting out the product that you need for your distribution wise. That would help
Yeah,
you guys out
I
greatly.
mean, it's been a weird last 12 months for sure. As the sales director, this is the first time, and it's a nice problem to have, where I've actually had to allocate product.
Mhm.
I kind of enjoy it at this point because people are coming to me begging for stuff, and
Yeah.
it's a small distillery that doesn't usually happen, right? You're usually saying, "I need to sell more. I need to sell more." Now it's like, yeah, we can give them 100 cases. We can give them 100 cases, and that's it for a month.
Mhm.
And then my sales team, Steve included, is constantly pounding me for more and more supplies and more boxes, but I can't control that.
Yep. Oh, he's out again.
How many barrels a year are you guys doing now for like private barrels? How many are you doing now?
Custom barrels. So let's see. Last year is a bad example. This year I would venture we'll probably do like 70.
Okay.
And so my dad mentioned we're in 16 markets, and he said some of them we're more dedicated to. We have feet in the street in 5 markets with Cleveland Whiskey employees. Mm-hmm. So those 5 markets, 2 of them are control states, so we do less barrels there. So the bulk of them are coming from like 3 states.
Wow. Okay.
Now, Billy, how many barrel picks have you done, or barrel blends have you done with Cleveland so far?
This is my second.
This is the second one. Okay, I didn't know if you had done one previous to your other one that you had there before. Okay.
No, that was our first, and I think we got a lot more out of that one. I think we did a full barrel the last time,
Mm-hmm.
and that one took a little bit longer. And I didn't have the power of Derek and Nick.
It's so powerful. We're saying it to everybody.
And Steve, of course.
And Steve, without Steve, we would, thank you so much, Billy, for hooking us up with Steve. So, we could do the shows and, get the Cleveland product out there to everybody, which, honestly, with our viewers has been a huge success. Everybody really enjoys it. They've really been drinking it. As soon as we've put them on the show, a lot of people have gone down and gone looking for the Cleveland whiskey.
You're right.
Yeah, and so, but it's still available if you want our blend right now that we did with Mucky's. Mucky's has it available on the shelf, waiting right there. It says little "Keeping It Neat" sign right up next to it, along with the Mucky Special Blend. But yeah, definitely go out there, pick up a bottle, and if you are right now, start sipping on your blend, the Mucky and Keeping It Neat blend right now, and move through it.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
So, cheers,
sir.
This is our blend. Comment in the chat what you're getting on the nose, and then we'll move to the palate afterwards. Cheers, Andrew. Cheers, Bill. And cheers, Steve.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Ding. Hope that was loud.
I'm drinking this in my Cleveland Whiskey rocks glass.
Oh, that's a nice
glass.
Kind of jealous.
I know, right?
Wow.
Steve can probably get you some, Billy.
I don't know if this is somebody that Vince McCarthy wants, can I have some more for North Carolina? That's
yeah, he's our sales rep in North Carolina.
All right, well there you go. Then he's on there. That's. I was thinking this is going to be somebody that they know.
You want to start off with the giveaway?
Yeah, I was going to pull up the giveaway and we'll give away a bottle. Let's give away a bottle.
Let's give away a bottle of what you're sipping right now.
That's how we roll.
That's what we're doing.
Is it?
I guess.
All right.
You pulled it up.
I did pull it up, so that's my plan anyway. So let's give a rotation, and we will see who is the winner of a bottle of the Cleveland Whiskey blend that we did with Mucky's, the Keeping It Neat Mucky's blend. Jeff Ravar. Congratulations, sir. You are the happy recipient of a bottle of our stuff. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a giveaway of a Mucky's t-shirt size.
I'm not wearing this one.
No,
folks.
he's gonna put the large on and
unless the person that it picks wants me to.
Yeah, so we got a Mucky's t-shirt with a Mucky's mask.
Even though you won't need it too much.
No, don't put it on your face. Don't bring it to it. Yeah, we got the Mucky's mask, so that'll be coming out to somebody.
I'll leave a lipstick like imprint inside for the lucky winner.
That would be great. I wish you would. All right, so the Mucky's t-shirt size large. Going out to Darren Morano.
Darren Morano.
Oh, congratulations, Darren.
You got the Muckies.
And we will do one more giveaway at the end of the show for another bottle of. Actually, we still have a Cleveland Whiskey T-shirt. We still have to give away too. We have one more Cleveland Whiskey T-shirt.
And one of ours.
Oh, we could do that. Maybe.
One.
So let's do the Cleveland Whiskey T-shirt right now.
Yes.
We'll get through that. So we're going to do another size extra large Cleveland Whiskey T-shirt coming up to our fans right now. I'm going to do the spin, and let's see who's going to win size extra large Cleveland Whiskey. Tony D.
Tony D.
All right, Tony's out. Congratulations, Tony. Size extra large Cleveland T-shirt coming to you. And we will hold off, and we will do the final ones more close to the end of the show. All right, get out of this if I can.
All right.
Multiple screens is my arch
kryptonite.
enemy here. My kryptonite right here. Trying to get my mouse to
Tom,
move around.
my dominant nostrils, my right. Thanks, Tom.
Oh, dominant nostril.
Mine's still my left.
Is it?
I think I went left tonight.
I'm left. Yeah, could switch though, Billy. You never know.
It could be in the
happens
middle.
all
We've
the
had it
time.
in the middle of a show. A nostrils change, so it does happen. It's not
Pretty
unheard
exciting.
of. So.
And unless you're my buddy Nick at
Nick,
home
yeah,
right now,
with
who's
his
just
all allergies, so there is no
him.
dominant nostril.
He's
It's
got
just,
weak nostrils. he said.
weak nostrils. Is that what it is? It's just everything just tastes the same to him right now.
I mean, the bourbon should help.
Oh, yeah, that'll clear you out a little bit, definitely. Now, Billy, all the bourbons that you've tried from Cleveland, do you have a preference? I mean, obviously the last blend that you did is one of your preferences.
Yeah, of course. But like Andrew, like what I think when we were doing the tasting that night is it had to have black cherry in it. It had to have black cherry in the blend. That was my one thing. I do love your black cherry. It's fantastic. And the wheat penny is gaining some ground on it. So those are my two favorite.
Yeah, I go back and forth all the time which one of those two I like better, just personally.
Yeah.
I always think I like one better, and then I go back to the other one. It's weird.
Yeah. But as in the blend, black cherry, I don't think there was a question. It was going in the blend.
Yeah, I know the night that we did the blend with everybody, like that was one of the ones that we all decided had to be in there was the black cherry, just because of the notes that we got out of it, and that was the dominant factor, that we really wanted pronounced in there. Yeah. Now, the proofing on it was up for debate that night. That was for sure. Because I mean, I do enjoy a barrel proof, but when we were talking with Bill, we said that, you have to think of the masses, what the average person that comes in would enjoy. So, we settled on the 108 proof where this comes in at. I was like, just give them barrel proof. Why not? Let's get some taste buds and not worry about it. If they want, they could add some water to it. But, they were like, we got to look at everybody, and when you do, and that's the one thing that we did learn when, when doing the blending is you can't just think of your own palate. You're kind of doing like a wider group of, you've got to expand beyond, to be able to, think what you want to get together with that. And that was really the thing. It was a great night. Nick had a great time.
It was amazing. Oh God, I mean, I thought it was really fun for all of us to work together, find what we liked, and have some backup ideas too. Yeah, I mean, we kind of we went in two or three different avenues before we finally were like, let's try this one, and now let's perfect this one.
Yeah.
But just to even try all in, the honey locust, the applewood. It was really fun to try everything you guys have to offer, because not everything that you guys have to offer is up in the area. So it was nice to try everything and really then be able to experiment too. It was like just such a fun experiment. And this is what we came out with the first time. So again, if you haven't yet, comment below what you're getting. I know somebody commented below, I think it was my buddy Mark, mentioned really hard to almost sometimes depict some of the flavors you're getting. You're also 3 barrel proofs in and trying a 4th. So it can start blending together. And that's why we mentioned before, like you might be mixing your own and trying to figure out your own blend, adding a little water. This is what we did, folks. So we tried to give you the different types to try, yourself, and then try ours and see what you come up with, see what you like.
So it's funny you say that. My dad and I got together on Sunday, and we were both struggling to. we both struggle with, everyone comes up with these tasting notes, right?
Yeah.
When I taste bourbon, I either like it or I don't. I really struggle to describe it in some of the ways that a lot of people can. I just don't have that skill. So we reached out to Brandon, our distillery manager, and said, we want you to pour yourself a sample of this. Help us describe this, because he can write. He's just got that talent. He can recognize things and just make it become a reality in words. So I want to read you guys what he wrote for nose and taste, if we're at an appropriate time for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Perfect.
Because I think he did a really good job, and my dad and I agreed with everything he picked up.
Okay.
So on the nose, he said, the first thing that pops out to me is how fruity this blend smells. Almost herbal. Peach tea made with grilled peaches. Deeper into the nose, familiar notes of oak, vanilla, and slight earthiness, revealing themselves at the end. Charred, sugar, creme brulee notes begin to appear. Very familiar to any bourbon drinker, but interesting enough that it keeps you going back for more. Taste,
Wow.
He said, at 108 proof with high rye mash bill, the first sip definitely lights up your palate, and the oak and charred sugar maple tannins dry it out. A second sip reveals classic bourbon notes of cinnamon, clove, and nutmeg, right in the middle, almost Coca-Cola-like. A slight hint of herbal tea and fruity tobacco lingers before giving way to a dry oak finish. So I thought that hit it on the head on a lot of that, and I never would have come up with half those words.
Well, he's been experimenting.
Yeah,
for how long?
he was working around with it.
That was very romantic.
It took him like 2 minutes, though. That's the thing. He's really good at it.
Yeah, well, to be able to do that with the words, and to have that kind of familiarity with your, what you're smelling, what you're tasting, and have that much to be able to delve into to actually pull those notes out. That's incredible. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we struggle when we're doing notes and we're like, what is that? Oh man, I wish I had a word for it and I can't think of it.
Yeah.
So now this is the biggest actual sip along that we've done, Andrew, for any of our shows so far. We sent out more samples for this show than any of our previous ones when I did. Now, when we did this one on one of the labels inside there, because I had a table full of different samples in the 2-ounce bottles just sitting out in front of it. I marked on it on one random one. I just said 1 free kin t-shirt to if you get this bottle and just let us know. Well, which is weird in and of itself, but I have a label that says free kin t-shirt. Now, the best part of this is my brother. So randomly, he didn't have to get this one. No. It was just the randomness of it. I would have just given him a t-shirt.
This is hilarious.
This is hysterical.
Unbelievable.
That how random it really is that he ended up with, out of all the
what are the odds of that?
4 samples, 40, 100 and over 160 bottles I sent out. That he got the one.
I can't believe it. When I
t-shirt.
read that, I thought it was a joke, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot we decided that.
I forgot I had that one weird label that was like a double print.
Yeah.
It was kind of. I still can't understand.
Still don't know what he
said. I don't know what Steve's saying, man. Steve, your audio is just bumming tonight, buddy. Good thing because Tom's not here, because Tom would have been all over you. He left.
I will be tomorrow. Don't you worry.
Yeah, that's right. That phone call when you get on that group call tomorrow, Andrew's gonna be all over you.
No, we're one big happy family. I'm just gonna laugh about it. I have a lot of ROBAR stories. Most of them aren't fit for a live audience.
Man, I can't wait to get you in person to find out these stories.
Andrew, my uncle had a question for you. He was wondering, he wanted to know how the guys at Cleveland, and you are probably a person involved in this, determine pricing for each of the bottles.
Oh boy, that's a tough question to answer. So my dad's background, actually, this would have been a good question for him. So he has a doctorate in marketing, of all things. Not many people have one of those, and he spent a lot of his career doing marketing consulting, market research, things like that. So he basically studied this. Now, not to say that there's a right way to do it, right? But a lot of times we take the Burger King model. So Burger King always puts their store across the street from McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
So we, with our first product, Black Reserve, we kind of price pegged against Knob Creek, another 100 proof product out there.
Yep.
and for us, we weren't making a lot of money on that, and still aren't really, because we're making everything in very small quantities compared to these big guys. But most craft distilleries, a product like that would be like $49.99, where ours is going to be anywhere from $20 to $10 lower than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the underground products, originally we were price pegging against there weren't too many at the time. I'm trying to remember other barreled finished things like Angel's Envy, Amador. That was really the best thing we could price peg against. So, kind of that $40, $45-ish area.
Yeah.
And right now, as we grow, as we're getting bigger, we're getting more competitive advantages. So we're trying to price it as competitive as we can.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's reasonably priced. I think it's like, it's perfect. Like exactly the realm for what it's worth. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, as a consumer, I can look at it and say that is a good whiskey for the money.
Yeah.
And now Billy can speak of it from a whole nother end of it.
Real Billy.
The real Billy, and with this one, as far as the price point on what you're putting it out at is what, I'm sure, Billy can talk more about that.
I mean, they give us a good base to start with, where we can make where everybody's going to make money and the customer's still happy. We want the wholesaler, we want Cleveland to make money, and of course, I might want to make a little bit,
maybe just a little.
So no, it's priced right where it should be. A little bit under 50 is perfect. There's a lot of new brands coming out lately, and I look at them like, you're not as good as them. Why do you think you should be there? And they can't give me answers except, well, we're craft. And I went, that doesn't make a difference anymore. You've got so much competition that you have to be competitive in this market right now. I know there's a boom of whiskey coming, but price competitive right now, and Andrew can tell you, Tom can tell you, is you have to be in that sweet spot, whatever you're going to be at.
It's really tough. And I have this debate, with my friends all the time about, competitive products, right? You have all these like famous 10-year bourbons out there, right? Mm-hmm. They range anywhere from $35 to $100 and anywhere in between. What's the difference at the end of the day? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Pricing's really tough. And, I think it's going to get even tougher during this next year right now, because there's a lot of factors driving up price, freight. All of our raw materials are getting more expensive and delayed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure on everybody to increase prices right now. And we're trying to hold steady because we know that the customer base buys our products at the current price point.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we got to make money too. And as Billy said, so does everybody up the line and in the chain of distribution.
Mm-hmm.
Wages are going up. I mean, there's a whole list that you can imagine.
Yeah, well, yeah, I imagine there is a lot that goes in. I mean, I can't even imagine, what the cost of that, the wood might be that you get, because I know that it's all gone exponentially up also. The wood end of it, that, that just the lumber, that because of COVID and shortage supplies and due to the demand that's going on right now, everything's just going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. In demand.
And so I can see that, that does have an effect on, where it starts and where it actually ends up. There has to be, you have to make money. You're not producing this to not make money. You know what I mean? To keep the company going, to keep the company growing, so definitely.
Yeah.
What else?
As Andrew can tell you, like, people think you turn the key and you're just making money no matter what you do. And you're fighting it all the time.
I mean, it's crazy right now. I was talking to Steve earlier today. I'm excited to get back in the market. But rental car prices are like 3 times what I'm used to paying right now.
Oh, really?
And I told Steve, we've got to be really careful, just making sure that traveling is the most effective it can be, because otherwise you're paying $140 a day for a car right now. I mean, plus gas and tolls and everything. It's insane.
Okay, we got two Steve.
I'll rent you my truck. I'll rent you my truck $20 a day.
This just turned into a horror story.
This is, you come down your stairs in the middle of the night into your basement. You need to get something. And this is what you see. Two Steves under a spotlight. Can I help you?
Have you heard of Cleveland whiskey?
Have you heard of Cleveland whiskey? Constantly on the sale. That's Steve.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
And I
But
have
yeah,
to give Steve and our whole sales team a lot of credit. I mean, even during COVID, I mean, it was tough to navigate that environment, but it was because of the work we had done prior to COVID that made us still grow during 2020. And all of our guys were out hitting the pavement, getting liquor to lips, and doing what we can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not to steal Steve's thunder, but Andrew, did I hear you're going to be in the market soon? Did I hear that?
I want to be. I was just actually in town on the way to Connecticut and visiting my sister. She just had a baby. So that was my first trip. But yeah, I'm hoping to be out there a lot as long as rental car prices come down. Yeah.
Well, the
But if
rental
you give me a
cars.
truck for $20 a day, we got a deal.
I mean, I could be your I could put on the hat. I could drive you
you're a
around.
chauffeur. You got to have, he'll be your personal Uber.
Where do you want to go?
Yep, there you go.
Give him a bottle of whiskey.
There you go. Nick's in. You sold them on Nick. But yeah, I have heard that with the rental cars there's a shortage of them, I guess, also. So the price is like 3 times higher than what it is because they had to sell off, I guess, a lot of their stock last year because nobody was traveling. So
Right.
they got rid of a lot of their fleet.
Yep. It'll even out.
All right, let's pull up the wheel of names again. We'll give away another bottle and another T-shirt.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you, Nick?
I think we do the shirts, then the bottle last.
The shirts, then the bottle. So what shirts do we have left?
I don't know.
All right, we got
I've
a
lost
shirt.
A shirt.
A shirt.
There we go.
All right, we'll give away a Kinfolk shirt. Keeping it neat shirt, folks. Here we go. And I'm trying to press on that one, and it's not going to work. I have to be over here. Yeah,
I know. Getting liquor to lips. That is an epic slogan, too.
Liquor to the lips. And Aaron Lebrecht
Nice.
gets the pin T-shirt to Aaron. Congratulations, sir. Take him off. So you want to do the bottle giveaway now? May as well.
I think we're at the.
I think we are pretty close.
Wrapping up soon.
We're
Yeah.
going to wrap it up soon. So
Let's do it.
Here it is for one bottle of the Kin Blend with Muckey Liqours coming at you. Who's going to be the lucky winner? Yeah, Christian Griffith.
Christian, congrats.
Congratulations, Christian. Get that down to you.
Awesome.
Oh, man, I'm kind of... Maybe they'll have that on their blog.
Yeah.
We'll have that
If we're lucky.
sampling if we're lucky, right? I'm going to have it on the Rick House Rambling blog.
Paul. AA Ron. I love that. It's one of my favorite skits of all time. AA Ron.
Hey, Ron. All right. There we go. We've done a lot of giveaways this
Awesome.
evening. To
Congrats
all
to
our
everyone
fans.
who's won.
Yes. Congratulations
Congrats,
to everybody
congrats.
out there. Congrats to everyone. Before we close out, gentlemen, is there anything, you'd like to say before we
I'll
wrap
throw a
this
little
puppy?
sneak. I'll throw a sneak peek out there.
Ooh, a sneak peek. All right, Billy.
Well, I think we
I'm
talked
in.
about this earlier. We talked about it earlier, but I confirmed with the Boston Tavern yesterday. We're going to do a dinner September 16th.
Okay.
They don't have the menu or anything. Steve's going to do all that. But hopefully for the locals, we can get some of you guys out there. We're going to be doing keeping it neat, Muckies kind of thing. Hopefully if we don't have bottles left, we'll have to do another tasting.
Oh,
It'll be so horrible. It'll be horrible.
It'll be terrible. We wouldn't want to do that. We
don't
wouldn't
make
wanna do
me.
another. You don't make
Yeah,
me now, Bill.
We're gonna work on getting another blend or maybe we go to the same one. That is the question I want to ask you guys tonight. Do we keep this blend or do we go for another blend?
Oh, I don't know, man.
That is a
tough
You're putting
one.
us on the spot here.
I know, right here now.
Yeah.
Huh? That is a tough one.
I like
I
the
like this
blend,
blend.
but I'm kind of like Tom Licks here. I love to experiment. I love to try to get out there and try new things. So I don't know.
I know. I'm kind of almost in the same boat. I
Yeah,
think I
it's
want to try
tough.
something different now.
Something new.
I think so too because we have done black cherry and sugar maple in both our blends,
Yeah.
Yep.
and I do want to change it up. I know it is a comfortable blend because it's fantastic.
Yep.
But I feel like I gotta get out of my comfort zone on that.
Yeah.
Well, I we had done a couple of different blends that night, and we did have some road work done for different ones that we wanted to go with. We can. I actually still have my notes from that night.
So do I. I
so
saved them.
I'll
I
bring
almost
them
put
back
it in a
with
picture
us.
frame. I
Yeah.
was so happy.
Yeah, so we can bring those back.
Mine
out.
blurred after about a half an hour.
Oh yeah. Well, the barrel
Was it
was
that
getting
or was it
worse.
the apps, Billy? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, the apps
I'm
were
not
it.
sure either.
We have little food overload, but the barrel proofs sneak up on you fast.
They do.
That's the whole thing, you know. And when you're doing all those and getting the blendings in, but yeah, definitely, I'm thinking a different blend.
I think we spice it up. We try something new.
Yeah, try something new, bring something new to the game. I like
if
that.
the gang's on board.
But for everybody that's out there, this blend is still available at Muckey's. Get on down there and go out there to Lakeville, make the little trip, make the pilgrimage. Go see Billy down at Muckey's. Tell them that Kin sent you, and he'll find a bottle somewhere, probably maybe hidden behind his desk, right next to the Elmer T. Lee. Next to the Elmer T. Lee he's saving for Andrew.
I'll be out there tomorrow if that's the case.
Look at that. I don't care what the rental car costs.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Billy, off the top of your head, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what's the price point of this bottle at your store?
$44.99.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah. Right in the sweet spot.
Yeah,
right in the sweet 108 spot. Proof, non-chill filtered. I'd buy it every day.
How can you go wrong?
Yeah, we went with that. We went with the non-chill filtered.
I don't think we talked about the non-chill filter for people who don't know what that means.
No, we didn't. We didn't talk about the non-chill filter.
Briefly, quick, and then.
All right.
We don't want to keep it too long.
I mean, Andrew's here. Andrew can tell us about non-chill filtering because he's the man. We have the expert. We can talk about it. But.
I mean, I'm not an expert in the filtration process, unfortunately, but essentially, you know, we give everyone the option. We filter everything that we make because really we have to. Our process pulls so much out of the wood. Not that sediment is bad, but it's not pretty to look at, right? So we do a chill filtration on most of our products that you see on the shelf every day. And the reason for that is to avoid sediment. Mm-hmm. And when you chill something, it basically makes it easier for the molecules to come together, and then you can filter it out easier. Very easy description.
Yep.
So by non-chill filtering, you're getting unadulterated whiskey. You're getting all the flavors. You're not losing anything from the filtration. And if you do get anything, you know, sediment-wise, again, it's not bad whatsoever. It's like orange juice. That's what I tell people. It's like
it is like that. Actually, my bottle is sometimes
you
like
get that sediment. So don't be afraid when you buy the bottle. If you go there and you say there's all kind of stuff at the bottom, that's the action. It's supposed to be there.
Yep.
You just kind of give it a little twist like that, and it's all mixed up, and you're ready to go.
And in the bourbon nerd world that I'm heavily involved in, I mean, people chase after non-chill filtered stuff. It's all the rage.
Well, it is the big rage right now. Everybody has that labeling on their bottles. You know, if they loud and proud non-chill filtered, it's non-chill filtered. And you know, we actually debated that night if we wanted to do non-chill filtered or go with the chill filtration, and we all decided to do the NCF. You know, for this bottling, which I'm happy with.
Yeah.
Nick was very happy.
I was.
Nick is always happy.
I'm always in a good mood.
Billy was, you know, again, I want to just thank everybody for tonight. Billy for allowing us to be able to do this blend. Steve, you know, for getting in, you know, and Billy for hooking us up with Steve so that we could have him on the show. Thank you so much, Steve. I mean, I talked to Steve quite a bit, you know, when we're not on the air, you know, it's just in personal, back and forth with Steve with a lot of stuff, all the things that are coming up in the whiskey world with Cleveland Whiskey. And, you know, it's a great partnership, and we really, you know, thankful that we got involved with everybody here, you know, and Billy's a great guy, and we're just so happy. And thank you very much again, Billy, for allowing us to be involved with this.
There is a comment on here that I actually loved.
Which one's that?
There's one: give away a viewing of our sampling.
A viewing of our sampling.
It's kind of like how Steve is right now, like that one light over him, like in the dark corner. But that would be awesome.
Want to participate, right?
Where is that comment?
I know, I'm looking for it right now.
It's right near your 4498 comment.
Oh, really? Okay,
right at the bottom.
It's got to be right down.
It's a YouTube GPC092.
Yeah,
there it is. Okay, GPC. All right, I got it. Next giveaway could be a spectator at the blending. There you go. Just someone just standing there in the corner with a light. We'll have Steve's light for you there for the next one.
And notice spectator. I mean, spectator could literally mean you're sitting there doing nothing.
Doing nothing. Just sitting there watching us kind of spit.
Blending.
Just boo us.
Just what are you guys doing?
Yeah,
just like that. You know, you can ask questions, and no, you don't get to drink this. Just hold on.
Yeah, if they don't like what we say, they'll shine the light in your face.
It'd be like a bad detective movie.
Yeah.
A noir. All All right. I think we're going to wrap this up. But
Yeah.
thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you guys so much.
We really appreciate you coming on. Steve,
Absolutely.
Bill, thank you so much for tonight. Again, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us this evening and to entertain all of our fans for this. I think we learned a lot about Cleveland whiskey tonight, more than I knew before.
Yes.
And
And more about Tom and his history too.
Yeah, we learned a lot about Tom.
we
and his
learned a lot
history.
about Tom.
Yeah, thank you guys. This was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you so much for being on, and I hope
Thank
you're
you,
up. And if you do come up in September, I'd be great to meet you in person. If you're around, I would really enjoy that. But for whatever reason, I think Steve's out because he's not coming back in.
All right.
Well, sorry, Steve.
Thank you guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much. If
guys
you guys
so
want to
much.
hang on for 2 minutes after we close this out, we'll
Yes.
just say a couple of things off screen, but I'm just going to pull you out. You'll be in the waiting room, and we'll get right back to you. Okay, guys?
Sounds great.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
both
guys.
of you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you, viewers.
All right, folks. Well, thank you all for joining us this evening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want the Muckey's blend that we did with Muckey's Liquors, head on down there. Go get it. You heard it, $44.99.
Yep.
There you go. I remember the
There you
price.
go.
That was
$45.
$45. That's someone actually
46
said that
maybe
one
with
night.
tax.
They were
I
like,
don't
"What
know."
are you?" They were like, "Why do you say the 99? Just say round it up because it sounds better when you say $44.99."
It sounds under what you don't want to have to pay.
Exactly.
But you'll pay it anyways.
You will pay it. So, but thank you everyone that commented tonight. The questions that were asked. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Next month, we asked the patrons, our followers, what they
Kim.
wanted for the June tasting, for our
big.
June sampling, and guess what? It was top shelf bourbons.
Only
So-
the best of the best.
That's right. So
Not the best.
well, yeah,
Sort of.
It's top shelf bourbons. Me and Nick are going to be doing another quick announcement coming probably this weekend, but we're announcing it now, so you guys are still here. It's going to be top shelf bourbons. We have the Booker's Boston batch. Excuse me, Boston batch will be one of them. We have Stag Junior batch number 14.
Yep.
That will be the second sampling, and then we have the third sample, which is the Murray Hill Club, which is by Joseph Magnus. That is our third sample. So it'll be $45 for the sample. All add-ons will be $35, but we're going to do another quick little special this weekend, another quick live, and we'll announce it then so we can get people's names down. But keep that in mind. Top shelf bourbon coming up in June. Date to be determined. We still don't know on that yet.
And this taping tonight was obviously, we had a lot of guests on, so it was very interactive with our guests. The next sip along will be more based where we are breaking down exactly what's going on in the glass, working with you and figuring out what we're getting. So I think there'll be a little bit more of the conversation in the chat and what we're doing. But we were super blessed and lucky to have them on tonight and talking with us. So it was a good time.
Absolutely. And again, thank you everyone for joining us. And here's hoping that everyone finds a little bit of luxury.
And otherwise, ordinary life.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.